Hello students, in this video I will be showing you how to calculate binomial probabilities using Geogebra, the Geogebra calculator. This is the section, the binomial distribution, from the chapter Discrete Probability Distributions. If you need help understanding whether to include or not include a value depending on what probability you're being asked to compute, please refer to the second video of this section, the binomial distribution. It's when I introduce how to calculate binomial probabilities. It includes information like this, which keywords you're going to be looking for to decide whether you include or not include a value. And it also gives you examples on visually what does it mean when you're looking for the value x to be between two values inclusive or exclusive, when you have x is less than or equal to or greater than or equal to a value on where x is exactly a value. If you still have questions on these, refer to the second video. We'll be using the same example that I have been using so far, the Pinterest users example that I introduced in the first video, the binomial distribution. The Pew Research recently reported that approximately 30% of the internet users in the United States use the website Pinterest. We're going to suppose that a simple random sample of 15 internet users is taken. From the information that we're given, we can conclude that we have a 15 number of trials. We're going to denote our success event being finding a Pinterest user and failure event not finding a Pinterest user. Our probability for success will be 0.30, which we got from that 30% of internet users that actually use Pinterest. And our probability for failure is the remainder or the complement of that probability of success. We're going to subtract it from our total sum of probabilities, which is 1. 1 minus 0.30 will be our probability of failure, which is 0.70. Because we were deciding whether we had a binomial distribution or not in the first video of this section, we were checking if this was independent probability for independent events. And we concluded that yes, it was. The fact that we have one Pinterest user does not affect the probability of getting a second or a third or a fourth Pinterest user. Our first question that we had already computed before using the binomial distribution probability formula was find the probability that exactly 4 of the sampled people use Pinterest. In notation form, we're looking for the probability of x is equal to 4. This will be a probability. We're going to be using the probability density function, but let me show you how to find these probabilities using Geogebra. If you Google Geogebra, your first option should take you to this Geogebra calculator. You're going to click on Start Calculator, and it should take you to one of the calculator suites. We're looking specifically for the probability or statistics suite. So over here at the top menu where it says suite, you're going to click on probability. You're going to scroll down and click on probability. This is how your suite should look like. If you notice, it has an option for you to choose which distribution you're looking for. We're not looking for a normal distribution. You have to select binomial because we're looking for a probability for a binomial distribution, and it's going to change your visual. Now, we have these two information parameters that we're going to complete. What's our number of trials? Our number of trials is 15. And what's our probability of success, which is our parameter 3, 0.30. And then from there, you have these different buttons depending on what probability you're looking for. We are looking for the probability of exactly 4. Unfortunately, this GeoGebra calculator doesn't give you an exact value. We're going to be using the interval, this one right here, the interval section, the interval button, and I want x is exactly 4. I'm going to put 4 on both sides. That means x is less than or equal to 4 or greater than less than or equal to 4 or greater than or equal to 4. X is in between 4 and 4, including the 4. That's our way of writing x is equal 4. Again, it's different than other calculators. or other probability calculators, but this is what we can work with in GeoGebra, and this will be the way of putting a PDF probability or a probability of exactly a value. 21.86 is the probability of getting exactly 4 users of Pinterest when we sample 15 people. Our next question. What's the probability that fewer than 3 of the people use Pinterest? We're looking for the probability of fewer than 3. Remember, the wording here is important. Fewer than 3, that's less than 3. That does not include the 3. In notation form, this is x is less than or equal to 3. But unfortunately, our GeoGebra calculator only has the feature x is less than or equal to. One of the buttons goes for x is less than or equal to. If I do not include the 3, let's take a look at our values, our possible values. I want fewer than 3. I want to make my cut over here, which means I want at most 2. 2 or less. X is less than or equal to 2. This is the x value we're going to be putting in our GeoGebra calculator to find the probability of x is less than or equal to 2. I'm going to click here, and I want x is less than or equal to 2. That's my probability, 12.68%. Take a look at our next question. What's the probability that more than one person uses Pinterest? The probability of more than one. More than one does not include the 1. X is greater than 1. Again, our calculator only allows us to use those inequalities that include the values. X is less than or equal to, or X is greater than or equal to, or X is in between 2 values, including those values. If I want more than one person, keep on going, all the way to 15. More than 1 is 2, or 3, or 4, or 5, or 6, or 7, all the way to 15. More than 1 is X is greater than or equal to 2. These two are equal to each other when it comes to binomial probability distribution. I'm going to change the interval that I want. I want x is greater than, I want to the area to the right, and I want x is, greater than or equal to 2, 96.47%. That's my probability. Our next scenario. What's the probability that the number of people who use Pinterest is between 1 and 4 inclusive? The probability of x is in between 1 and 4 inclusive. That means including 1 and 4, which means I need to add that or equal to at the bottom of my inequalities. We're in luck. Our GeoGebra calculator allows us to put intervals like this. If we were looking at our distribution, we can have 0 users, 1 user, 2 users, 3 users, 4 users, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way to 15. I want in between 1 and 4, including the 1 and the 4. This is the interval I want. What's the probability that I will find 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 users? I click on this probability, this interval button, and I'm going to change my values to 1 and 4. My probability is 51.07%. Even if you notice the GeoGebra calculator gives you this pretty visual representation of the probabilities that you're looking for. 51.07. At this point, you should you should already have noticed that this GeoGebra calculator, it's beautiful, and it allows you to use different inequality, or I guess different ranges from one, like between 1 and 4, less than 3, more than 5, without having to arrange or modify At this point, you should have already noticed that this calculator is more user-friendly than Excel or Desmos when it comes to finding binomial probabilities. Our next scenario. What's the probability that exactly 5 of the sample people use Pinterest? Exactly 5. What's the probability that X is equal to 5? Again, GeoGebra doesn't have a PDF button, but we can use the interval and just make both of our values 5. X is in between 5 and 5, including 5. Our probability is 20.61%. What's the probability that fewer than 4 of the people use Pinterest? We are looking at that notation again. Fewer than. Probability of X is less than 4. But remember that less than 4 does not include 4. So we will need to do that adjustment, and I'm going to go 1 before 4 so I can include the value. X is less than or equal to 3. These two are the same probability, but we can only put this one in Desmos. That's why we're making that adjustment, because Desmos only allows us to use those inclusive inequality symbols. Now I'm looking for this. X is less than or equal to 3. My probability is 29.68%. Oh, wait, I didn't round. 29.69%. It's the same for both. When it comes to binomial distribution probabilities, these two probabilities will be the same. And our last scenario for today. What's the probability that the number of sampled people who use Pinterest is between 6 and 8? Between 6 and 8 inclusive, which means including the 6 and the 8. I'm going to change my interval. I want between 6 and 8. Probability is 26.31%. 26.31%. Did I round wrong? Let's suppose, this is an hypothetical, they have told you X is in between 6 and 8 exclusive, then you do not include the 6 and you not include the 8. When you have your values, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If we say X is in between 6 and 8, not including the 6 and the 8, that means it will be just the probability of X is equal to 7, because if we do not include the 6 and the 8, it's just the values in between, and we only have 7. Again, it's important that you read and understand what's the difference between inclusive and exclusive. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope by now you already decided whether you want to use Excel or Desmos or Geogebra, which I believe your easiest route will be Geogebra. Have a very good day.